in London, England, with Sarah Smith and her 6-year-old daughter, Sophie Smith. These two ladies work in the steel factory down the street. Sarah, what is it like working in the factory?
Well, working in the factory is actually very long and tiring. People get hurt frequently. I work 16 hours a day, and I have to work all the way until Saturday. There's no such thing as sick days, and the working conditions are very dirty.
Really? Well, what happened to your face?
Well, just the other day I was working with a machine that had a little handle. It broke off and hit me right in the eye.
Really? Now what about your nub?
Well, my nub is because my arm is now missing. The conveyor belts are just loose and wide in the open, so if you put your hand on it, which I made the mistake of making, conveyor belts are just loose and wide in the open, so if you put your hand on it, which I made the mistake of making, ripped my arm right off.
Really?
And I still had to work.
You're just lucky you weren't working in the meat packing industry. If your arm falls off into a vat of boiling meat, people will just eat it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it got sent to a meat factory.
It might have, just for extra meat. What happened to your daughter, Sophie?
Well, Sophie is only 6 years old, but she still has to work 16 hours a day also. As you can see, the bruises all over her face. Her working conditions are very harsh too. She has to climb inside the small machines to check if they're working correctly.
Really? Are they running or do they turn them off?
They just keep running the whole time. Production is number one.
That is extremely dangerous.
Yes, I also have an infant named Stephen, and I actually have to tie him to the bedpost every single day because I'm not allowed to be there to watch him. I have to work to make money, and there's not really a thing such thing as a daycare.
There's no daycare, so he doesn't eat. He just sits there.
Yes, and he will do the same thing Sophie does, unfortunately. They can't go to school because they have to work for their money.
Are there a lot of children like Sophie working in the factories?
Actually, there is. There are thousands and thousands of children working in the factories. Most children don't go to school unless they have a good amount of money.
What age do they start working about?
I would say probably around 4, 4 and a half.
Really? That sounds extremely dangerous. These children aren't allowed to play?
Yes, and they're not allowed to be part of the future either because they will just follow in their parents' footsteps.
Really? So then, given no opportunities?
No education, there's nothing they can really do.
So, this just gives you a little bit of insight into the life of an English family. During the industrial revolution.
Okay, just cut it off.